What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mine Something. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and in today's video we're going to talk about solar for your mining farm. We're going to talk about Flux, an address holding 94% of all the tokens, and why it's not a big deal. And lastly, we're going to talk about the US putting sanctions on chip manufacturers. So before we get into it, do me a favor, hit that like and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and take a look at the market. So the time of recording right now is 6:57 p.m. on February 28th, 2023. Bitcoin is coming in at 23,076, Ethereum just over 1,600. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the mineable coins like Dogecoin, currently down to 8 cents. It's pulling back. Also, Ethereum Classic pulling back at $20.71. Monero at $150. Conflux at 19 cents. And we've got ETH POW at $3.65. Ravencoin is under 3 cents now. Chia is at $37.78. Kadena at $1.08. Flux at 80 cents. Kaspa, which has had a nice little pump over the last 48 hours, is still up about 2.5% over the last 24 hours, but pulling back significantly. Currently sitting at just over a penny. And then we've got Ergo down to $1.62, Darrow at $4.21, Cortex at 26 cents, Alephium at 12 cents, up about 30% in the last 24 hours and 38% over the last 7 days. Nexa is up almost 2%, roughly, exactly 1.57% at 0.0000129. And Neoxa is up about 4%, and then we've got Dynex up about 14%, currently sitting just over 8 cents. Radiant is up 5% as well, and then we've got HiveMapper pulling back about 5%, and Meowcoin also pulling back about 5%. Let's go ahead and jump into emissions for the last 24 hours. So Kaspa is still doing quite well at 258,000. Chia pulling back a little bit at 357,000. Ergo at 62,000, almost 63. We got Nervos at 62,000, Monero at 53,000, Conflux at 47,000, and Flux at 36,000. And then a little bit further down, we've got Siacoin at 19,000 and Dynex up to 15,000. And let's take a look at 7-day difficulty change. So nothing's changed really since the last episode on Bitcoin. Dogecoin is down 13.7%. Litecoin is up almost 7%. Kaspa difficulty is up 22%. And let's see, what else? Ergo up about 7%. Monero has pulled back. It was up like 30% over the last 7 days, and I'm not sure what caused that, but I'll continue to investigate. Conflux down 50%. And then we got Flux down 16.8%. Dynex is pretty much sideways. So let's go ahead and jump into profitability on a 3070 at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So coming in on top is Ergo and Kaspa at 14 cents, followed by Nexa at 13 cents, Kaspa at 9 cents, Alephium also at 9 cents, Radiant at 6 cents, Kaspa on NiceHash at 5 cents, Dynex at 4 cents, Cortex at 4 cents, ETH POW and Alephium at 4 cents, Ethereum Classic and Alephium 2 cents, Eternity at 1 cent, Ergo negative 1 cent, Vertcoin negative 1 cent, Conflux negative 2 cents, Ergo on NiceHash negative 3 cents, Ravencoin negative 4 cents, Firo negative 5 cents, Meowcoin negative 7 cents, Neoxa negative 8 cents, and Flux negative 11 cents. And by the way, to the person who commented that they were mining Kaspa on NiceHash, why? Don't get me wrong, I understand you want to accumulate Bitcoin, but looking at this, you know, when it comes to profitability on NiceHash at 5 cents versus 9 cents, you're losing roughly about 40%. But then again, I suppose it also depends on how much you're paying in fees to swap. But man, I believe pretty strongly that Kaspa is going to do great things in the next bull run, and I think it's definitely going to outperform Bitcoin. But Not financial advice. Do your own thing. Let's go ahead and take a look at ASIC miner profitability. So we got the Antminer D9 at up to $33 now, and then we got the K7 at $22.42, and then we've got the D7 at $21.39. Where's the KA3? Wow, down here in 6th place at $16.26, which is disappointing. Let's see what else. We've got the Jazz miners coming in at about $4 a day. Let's see what else we got. I'll just scroll down a little ways so that you guys can see the rest. And I said that I would tell you guys what I am mining, and yesterday I moved everything over to Caspa, but difficulty has picked up quite a bit. So I took about half of the farm off and moved over back to Nexa. So as you can see, we're sitting at about 1.5 gigahash on Nexa using Viperpool, and we're at about 4.8 gigahash on Caspa using caspapool.org. And I have some bad news for you guys. So about 3 days ago, we had a giant gust of wind come through West Texas, and at the airport, the local airport, they recorded speeds up to 117 miles an hour. I think where I was at, we got wind gust speeds up to 74 miles per hour. And unfortunately, it took a toll on my solar setup. I had a single solar panel get picked up by the wind and tossed onto a couple of other solar panels. I lost 3 solar panels altogether as a result. And not only did it bust through one of my solar panels, but it busted completely through my metal roof. I mean, that would have definitely decapitated somebody had they been in the path. But thank goodness no one was around. My shop is at the back of my property, which is probably about 1,000 feet away from my house. But it's really made me cautious on how I mount additional solar panels going forward, and to kind of address basically what happened was wind is getting up underneath these channels here, and I think what I'm going to do is use some they make foam that goes underneath these ribbed cutouts. And what I want to try and do is eliminate that dead space underneath there so that the wind hitting the first row of panels doesn't have the capability of picking them up. Now, everything is bolted down, but I don't know, perhaps there was a loose bolt on one of them. I'm not exactly sure what caused it, but 75 to 100 mile an hour winds, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, and maybe I should be thankful that I didn't lose more of them. Now, I did get up there, repair the roof, and take down the broken solar panels, and kind of had to readjust the wiring. And some of my wiring would not reach all of the panels because of the changes that I had to make. So unfortunately, I'm not utilizing 100% of all the panels that are up there. Even though I only lost 3, I'm technically down, I think, 7 solar panels altogether at the moment. But we still managed to produce 22 kilowatt hours for today, which was pretty good considering there was a little bit of cloud cover. Normally we get anywhere from, I don't know, 25 to 35 kilowatt hours a day. In fact, we can just pull up the chart here. So my best day so far this month has been 35 kilowatt hours produced. Some of the better days are about 33, 31. But as the days are getting longer, we're getting a little bit more production. These are some really cloudy, cold days here, but you can see today, even with not much cloud cover, down to, let's see, we started out with 30 solar panels and -6. That puts me at 24 250 watt solar panels, and still managed to produce about 80% of what we normally do. So on the bright side, a friend of mine is going back to Arizona, and he is going to pick up some more solar panels, and I am going to be adding some more solar. And let me just remind you guys where I am getting my solar panels from. So it's Santan Solar. And let me show you the panels that I am getting. These will be the same ones that I got previously. Let's see if we can pull them up here. Sorry, bear with me. I should have had this prepared. So they are 250 watt solar panels. They're Canadian, and these show to be blemished, and then you're also going to see some that will say snail trails, some that have cracked vinyl, but the ones that I'm getting, let's see if I can find the exact ones. There we go. So these will be the ones that I'm replacing as well as adding, and they show to have a price of $79, but they've got a great sales team over there. They have hooked me up in the past, and I believe I'm going to be getting these for about 50 bucks a piece. And I don't have to pay shipping because I got a buddy that's going to be in Arizona and will pick them up for me and bring them down. Unfortunately, I don't know how many he can fit on his trailer. He's really into riding ATVs, four-wheelers, and stuff like that, and he's getting some work done. So he's towing a rather large trailer, but it's going to be pretty full with ATVs and other vehicles. So I don't know how many he can pick up. I'm hoping that he can pick up at least 10 to 15 of these. But if he can fit more, I'll probably be adding another 20 to 30 of them. And at about 50 bucks a piece, you know, that's 500 to 1,000 bucks roughly. So not bad at all. Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about this article that I saw on Cointelegraph, how the mining pool strives to make Bitcoin greener. So Bitcoin miners consume massive amounts of energy to secure network and to process transactions. While the network offers many benefits like banking the unbanked, Bitcoin's energy consumption is a controversial topic for critics. However, new solutions are emerging to reduce the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. The Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance estimates that Bitcoin's network currently consumes about 109 terawatt hours per year. Bitcoin miners use this energy to generate well, you guys know all this stuff. Let's get to the important stuff. So Pegapool, a platform based in the United Kingdom, is one of the newest mining pools in the industry. Of course, mining in a network, joining forces with other miners and earning BTC together is nothing new. Pegapool offers miners a way to make their operations more sustainable. There are several ways this mining pool makes the work of participating miners more sustainable. First, miners that use sustainable energy resources get a 50% reduction in pool fees, giving clean energy sources an advantage over the participants in the Pega mining pool. Secondly, miners using dirtier energy sources are also welcome to join. However, Pega pool reserves a portion of the fees these miners pay to offset their environmental impact. More specifically, the project uses the fees to plant new trees, which capture the carbon these miners emit while mining Bitcoin. Pegapool might be a relatively new platform, but its green mission has already attracted many miners. According to the blockchain explorer BTC.com, the pool already ranks among the biggest mining pools in the industry, taking the 11th spot on the list. Currently, it produces a hash rate of 2,875 petahashes per second, closely following pooling. The pool has already mined 771 Bitcoin by mining 121 blocks, all with minimal environmental impact, which is awesome to see, and I hope that we see more stuff like this. So kudos to Pegapool, and if you guys weren't familiar with it, there you go. So earlier today, I was watching Chump Change's live stream this morning, and someone pointed out that there is a wallet that holds about 95% of all Flux. And I just wanted to make sure that there's nobody out there spreading FUD about Flux specifically with this particular wallet address. So I wanted to take the time to give a shout out to Chump Change for covering this particular subject and let the video play for just a moment so that you guys understand why this wallet holds so much. So let me turn down my headphones, bear with me. Here we go.
One wallet owns 95% of all Flux. Why? Official Reddit. Let's see. Oh, okay, right here. Look at this. It is the parallel asset swap pool. All it shows is the most of the Flux ETH parallel assets have been converted to native Flux because no one is using the ETH chain. If you look at the swap wallets for Flux to Sol or Flux to AVAX, it probably looks similar. Most users don't keep coins in parallel chains. They only move coins to those chains if they need to use a platform or to use those platforms. You can also see one of the largest wallets on the rich list is also the native Flux swap wallet. Those wallets are just holding pools to allow users to jump chains when they want. Technically, there is enough in each parallel chain swap wallet for 100% of Flux to switch to any parallel asset if the user base wanted to.
So I did reach out to Jeff Key in regards to this and just wanted to confirm and make sure that if I brought this subject up in a video, that what I was telling everybody is accurate. And he did confirm. The only people that have, or the only entity that has access to this is strictly for swapping. So, you know, for those of you guys out there that were potentially worried about this, let me also show you. You can find the wallet address if you go to Flux, select more info, and scroll down to the bottom. Here's the wallet address, and it shows 94% of total supply. But if you go to the block explorer, you can see on Etherscan that this does belong to Flux Swap Pool Cold. So there you go. Nothing to worry about, guys. Anyways, moving on. A couple of other things. I noticed that former FTX director to reportedly plead guilty to fraud charges, and this is Nishad Singh, who is someone different other than Gary Wang or Caroline Ellison. So Nishad Singh, former director of engineering at FTX, is expected to plead guilty to fraud charges brought by U.S. prosecutors who are investigating the now bankrupt FTX cryptocurrency exchange, Reuters reported on February 28th. During the hearing in a Manhattan federal court, Singh's lawyer announced that his client had agreed to plead guilty to one count of wire fraud, one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud on FTX customers, and one count of conspiracy to commit commodities fraud. According to CNBC, Singh was a close friend of Bankman-Fried's younger brother in high school and became FTX's director of engineering in 2019. In 2020, Singh allegedly altered FTX's software to allow Alameda, a firm where he had previously worked as chief executive, to avoid automatic asset sales when it was losing too much borrowed money. This exemption allowed Alameda to continue borrowing from FTX regardless of how much collateral secured its loans, according to Reuters. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has alleged that this code change gave Alameda a virtually unlimited line of credit at FTX, and that billions of dollars FTX lent Alameda over the next 2 years came to FTX customers. Singh, who was absent from public view for an extended period compared to other FTX executives, emerged in early January to participate in a proffer session at the Southern District of New York's United States Attorney's Office. During a proffer session, the person providing information may be given partial protection to divulge their insights to the prosecutors. Singh's plea comes after a number of Bankman-Fried's close associates have reportedly agreed to cooperate with prosecutors in recent months. In December of 2022, Cointelegraph reported that former executives of FTX Alameda Research, Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang, pled guilty to fraud charges and are cooperating with the Justice Department investigation on the former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried. Former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried has pleaded innocent to 8 federal charges and is currently living with his parents in California. Bankman-Fried's criminal trial in federal court is scheduled to begin in October, while FTX's bankruptcy case is ongoing in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court of the District of Delaware. So the chips continue to stack against Bankman-Fried, considering that that's 3 of the main people there pleading guilty and willing to cooperate with authorities. So I sure hope that he get what's coming to him, but you know, time will tell, I guess. A couple of other things just wanted to cover. In case you guys had forgotten, The 7000 series X3D processors have officially launched, and just wanted to point out that when you look at the 7950X compared to the X3D, some big differences you're going to notice here is a savings of 50 watts on the TDP, so we go from 170 to 120. And then look at the L2, L3 cache going from 80 megabytes to 144, and both carrying the same MSRP at launch. Of course, the 7950X is currently lower now, but I suspect that it's going to be an excellent CPU for mining, especially with that L3 cache increase. But yeah, if you guys weren't aware, they are out and available. And then we got another one from Tom's Hardware, stating that the U.S. government outlines requirements for CHIPS Act subsidies. The U.S. government is set to provide American chip makers $52 billion in funding in a bid to strengthen the local semiconductor industry and lay the groundwork for its revival in America. But to get billions of dollars from the government, companies will have to agree to a variety of terms, which include not expanding their manufacturing in China, sharing profits, and providing affordable childcare. U.S. chip makers that receive funds from the CHIPS Fund must agree not to expand their production capacity in China for 10 years after they get the money, reports the Financial Times. This is not the only measure designed to limit American chip makers that receive money, indicating that the U.S. government reserves the right to expand its stipulation list beyond China. Recipients will be required to enter into an agreement restricting their ability to expand semiconductor manufacturing capacity in foreign countries of concern for a period of 10 years after taking the money, says Gina Raimondo, the U.S. Commerce Secretary. Recipients must not knowingly engage in any joint research or technology licensing effort with a foreign entity of concern that involves sensitive technologies or products. The U.S. government does not intend to fund the entirety of these fab projects. The grants are projected to total 5 to 15% of capital expenditures per project and will not exceed 35% of a product's total cost. Meanwhile, companies will be able to apply for a tax credit reimbursing 25% of their project's construction cost, reports from the New York Times. Keeping in mind that modern fabs can still cost $10 billion or more, this is still a lot of money. Companies who win government grants will have to hit certain milestones on time, refrain from stock buybacks, as the Commerce Department will prefer to give funding to companies who do not, and provide affordable child care for workers. Furthermore, they will have to share unexpected express profits with the government, a move designed to ensure that companies do not exaggerate the cost of these projects. For now, the Department of Commerce has released general guidelines for these companies set to receive funding from the government and intends to disclose more detailed rules in the coming weeks. We're going to be releasing very detailed regulations in the next few weeks that give companies a clearer sense of what the red lines are. So, yeah, it continues. And then the last thing I wanted to get into with you guys was just a reminder about the Satoshi Action Fund. Again, if you guys are interested in making sure that miners are not discriminated against and having somebody to advocate for miners in the U.S., please donate to them. And that's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoy the content. Do me a favor before you go, hit that like and hit the subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.